All right, joining me now is NBC News Think contributor and former House Oversight Committee senior advisor Kurt Bardella. He's also former spokesperson for Republican Senator Olympia Snowe, and Lauren Leader, co-founder and CEO of All In Together, a group that encourages women to engage in politics. Kurt, let me begin with you, if I may. We are hours away from the start of another holiday weekend. As we heard from everyone there on Capitol Hill, Congress isn't even in the Capitol today. Is there any way you see that the shutdown will end before the new year or even before this Congress is out?
No. I mean, the House and Senate, they're gone. Donald Trump has made it very clear that he's not moving or budging at all. I think Trump's people tell him they think that he's getting the better end of this shutdown right now. I think that they're delusional enough to believe that the longer this goes for some reason, the better it is, because he loves nothing more than to fight, and to fight on his signature issue, immigration and the border wall. Never mind the fact that we just had an election where he made the border wall and border security the centerpiece of his conversation, where he talked about and played up the idea that there was a caravan invasion coming to America to take all of our jobs and to kill everybody. And you know what? The American people overwhelmingly rejected that vision that Donald Trump put forward. It's almost as if Donald Trump's living in a world where the election didn't happen, where Democrats didn't just win 40 seats and kicking out 40 Republicans, where Democrats have the new majority. He's operating in this delusional state where he thinks that he can continue to act as he has the last 2 years without a check and balance on power. And the American people made it very clear they want that check and balance. They want a different path. They want a different agenda, and they rejected his border-first agenda.
So, Lauren, let me play this soundbite from GOP Congressman Louis Gohmert, who talked about how long this government shutdown should last. Watch this.
So, Congressman, how long should the president keep the government closed?
Well, it's only a part of 25%, and because we keep seeing people losing their lives without one, you
How
do
long?
it till hell freezes over.
February?
Till hell freezes over.
Until hell freezes over.
Because we owe it to our country.
All right, so, you know, you heard him there, until hell freezes over. That's the position he's taking. A few others within his party are also taking that position. I'm curious to get your thoughts, politically speaking. How feasible is this for the GOP? They just lost a midterm elections. They don't have the mandate to govern. As Kurt was saying, this is something the president staked his re-election, or I should say the election of a lot of members of Congress on, and they lost.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's unbelievable. And really what this turns upside down is the notion that Republicans are the party of fiscal conservatives. I mean, that's what's so extraordinary about where we've landed, is that you've got Democrats fighting for smaller spending, for smarter spending, and fighting against completely wasteful, ineffectual, ballooning deficit, driving ridiculous border wall proposal. It is an unbelievable change. But, you know, I think you have to look at what's happened in the last few months. It's not an accident that on December 18th, when the Senate passed the bill and sent the bill to the continuing resolution, sent the bill to the president's desk, they expected it to pass. And they expected it to pass because Republicans in the Senate and the House said that the $5 billion was a non-starter. They were not going to support it. Members of his own party, who were in the majority in both the House and the Senate for another couple days, including the White House, said no way. They thought this bill was going to pass. And so what else was happening around December 18th, 2018? Well, we were talking about Michael Flynn. We were talking about the fact that we had an agent of a foreign government working actively in the national security apparatus of the United States. We were talking about Michael Cohen and his conviction and his ongoing negotiations with Mueller. We're not talking about those things today. And I absolutely think that it's entirely possible that none of this is actually about the border wall. None of this is about this, you know, supposed burning platform of emergency issue that doesn't exist at the southern border. It's about a huge distraction. And the longer this goes on, the more we're talking about the government shutdown, and we're not talking about the swirling accusations and difficulties legally for the president.
So let me just see if I'm summarizing this correctly. Your position is that the president is creating this as a distraction from the Mueller investigation and all these other cases that were going on.
Yes, and I mean, I think that's true, and he's done this before, but I also think, look, he's failing to live up to the campaign promises that he did make, which were ridiculous and impossible, and his base
including
is up
Mexico
in arms.
is going to pay for the
I mean,
wall.
it was ridiculous. The whole thing was ridiculous from the beginning, and now to say that somehow the renegotiation of NAFTA is going to cover the cost of this is also a complete, I mean, this is what's so difficult about this time, is that we're not dealing in reality. Right. Every day the president and his inner circle are building arguments based on fantasy. And the American people and federal workers are paying a price. These are hardworking civil servants. They deserve better.